Welcome to Three Count Commentaries. Hopefully this review won't be too bad. I am suffering from a head cold, which is not as bad as Triple H's booking. I can't believe he did it again for like the 22nd week in a row. He decided Judgment Day opens the show, Judgment Day closes the show, and they lose. This is getting old at this point. I don't care what you guys want to complain about the Bloodline. At least the Bloodline storyline, one, draws viewers. Two, these guys win most of the time. The Judgment Day loses literally all the time. Why do we care about these guys? Never mind. Three Count Commentary, it's your boy MagMongoSlade. I need to sweat this out. I need to sweat this cold out. Let's get to some news and notes first. One, Kevin Patrick is gone. From what I read, I thought he was going to be the third man in the booth. It turns out Kevin Patrick is not there at all. Very interesting. Very interesting decision to not have Kevin Patrick at all out there. Can't say the show suffered for it. The problem with this show wasn't Kevin Patrick. The problem was the booking. Apparently, Bobby Roode and Nick Aldis also worked as producers on this show. Unless they were told by WWE, I don't see how anybody knows that. Also, it was suggested that Nick Aldis is absolutely 100% on as a producer now, and that he got the gig. But until we actually see him come out there or do something or announce it, there's really no point in talking about it. I said my piece, I think, a long time ago that he's probably not done in the ring yet. I don't think he has any serious injuries that would hinder his career, that would stop him from continuing to wrestle if he wanted to, unless he was offered so much money in WWE that as a producer that it really wouldn't make any sense for him to wrestle. But Bobby Roode as a producer, probably a good idea. I mean, that guy's probably done. I doubt he wrestles another match, if we're being honest. So it's a right move for him. All right, let's get into this dumb show so we can end it. Cody Rhodes starts. He puts over Brock Lesnar because they're in Minneapolis. And then he says that Brock Lesnar acknowledged him, and now he feels like he can beat anybody. This means Seth Rollins coming out there in these oversized, bright yellow Crocs. Oh my God. It literally looks cartoonish. He literally looks like a cartoon character. I don't get this guy, but at least he's not wearing women's clothes this week. Thank God he's not wearing women's clothes. So he got in Cody's face and says that Cody got into his face when he won the world title, and now he can consider this returning the favor, and that he's willing to put Cody's little feeling to the test. This, of course, came out Judgment Day. We won Raw. We're top dog. Finn Balor attacked Rollins from behind. Sami Zayn came out there to help Cody and Seth Rollins. This led to Cody challenging the Judgment Day to a 6-man tag. Seth Rollins was not happy, not excited, not thrilled. He was just like everybody else. He's literally me. I heard about this and I was like, no. I mean, he was unhappy for a different reason. I was unhappy because it's another Judgment Day main event and I knew they were not going to win. And it wouldn't even matter if they did win at this point, because we've just been doing the same damn thing over and over and over. And it's not working. It's not a formula that works. Anyway, Seth Rollins is backstage. He's upset. He doesn't want to team with Cody. Don't want to do anything with Cody. Sami Zayn, once again being the peacemaker, is standing there saying, hey, why don't you guys get along? Let's try this. You know, hey, Kevin Owens is your friend. Kevin Owens is my friend. Kevin Owens is friends with Seth Rollins? When did they become friends? In any event, they got to make Judgment Day pay for all the horseshit they've been doing for the last couple of weeks. So they all agreed to have the match. They agreed to fight. JD McDonough, he's backstage with Finn Balor, and they're just chatterboxing. Then Damian Priest strolls up. He wants JD McDonough to beat it. Finn Balor says, anything you can say in front of me, you can say it to him. So Damian Priest talks about Finn Balor kind of going off and coming up with his own plans. Finn Balor says that Damian Priest don't know how to stick to a plan anyway. So they go back and forth about what was Damian Priest doing at SummerSlam? Was he trying to help or was he in the way? So ultimately, Finn Balor got into Damian Priest's face, and I was surprised at how small Finn Balor is, but he still did not look that much smaller than Damian Priest. In any event, Damian Priest said, look, you're crowding me right now. To which Finn Balor says that the briefcase is crowding them right now. Rhea Ripley came in and was a disciplinarian, put all these guys in their places, tell them to stop acting like children. At the end of this thing, JD McDonough suggested that they get rid of the Money in the Bank briefcase because it's causing problems. To which Damian Priest wanted to rip his throat out because, like, who is he even talking to, and why is he even speaking? Why is this occurring? That wouldn't be the end. We'd see a JD McDonough, for instance, because he ended up attacking Sami Zayn, which of course exposed Sami Zayn's bursa elbow, which is it's some kind of an infection that you get. Athletes get it in there, and it looked pretty gnarly. It looked like he had a tennis ball in his elbow. Ugh. So he's out for a little while. You might need, he might, I mean, it depends on how bad the infection is. You might be able to drain it a little bit, but it's not like you might need surgery from the looks of it. Being a tag team champion, and I'm like Forrest Gump, it's not easy being tag team champions. Must not be easy being a tag team champion. Anyway, before the match happens, Sami Zayn is taken out of the match and it has to be replaced. This takes us to Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bronson Reed, who had a really long match on TV for some reason. I don't know what Triple H was thinking, but he decided to have a long match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Bronson Reed. So Nakamura wins the match clean, which doesn't bode well for Bronson Reed. Doesn't look good for him. But then when you saw where Nakamura is going, you figure, it's not that big of a deal. Later, Nakamura is talking about carving out his own path, and this is where JD McDonough assaulted Sami Zayn. Later, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins are still arguing. Cody went and found his own thing, while Seth Rollins talked about Sami Zayn and inability to wrestle. So then Shinsuke Nakamura came over and volunteered to team up with them. I mean, you could see this. I mean, Stevie Wonder could see this heel turn coming. God damn, Ray Charles could see this. I mean, beyond the grave, he could see the heel turn coming, couldn't he? You couldn't be more obvious. Judgment Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Seth Rollins, and Cody. I'm not going to lie to you. Didn't watch it. Didn't care. Rhea Ripley was assaulted by Raquel Rodriguez, Candice LeRae, and Indy Hartwell before the match. This was actually more interesting than the match itself. Raquel Rodriguez is backstage being told by the medical staff that she is still not medically cleared. She's close, but she's not medically cleared yet. But she still decided she was going to put her hands on Rhea Ripley and throw Rhea Ripley up against the barricade and all kinds of stuff. Now, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell have been the supportive friends in this, the nameless, faceless supportive friends. And they end up brawling with Rhea too. And basically, it was Rhea versus 3 different women. They ended up pulling Raquel away, and then she ended up brawling with Indy and Candice LeRae. So they found a way to mix everybody in, somehow. So the 6-man tag goes on, and of course, briefcase to the face for Finn for the second time this week in the same calendar week. He gets kicked in the face with a briefcase, and that's it for Finn. He loses. Damian Priest was, oh God, this is so boring. God damn it, this sucks. Who cares? Nobody cares about Judgment Day. Let's just move on. Seth Rollins and Cody, they shook hands. They're not quite friends, but there's a healthy respect of one another. This led to Shinsuke Nakamura chilling in the cut while Sami Zayn celebrated with the baby faces. Soon as Seth Rollins got done celebrating, he got a knee to the face by Nakamura, and it was that simple. And Nakamura walked away, leaving Seth Rollins laying. Cody and Sami Zayn was like, oh, that could have been us, but it wasn't. So praise God. So Triple H is trying to defibrillate Shinsuke Nakamura, who is, he's a GSW from the old NXT Black and Gold days. And he's like, clear. He tried it with Finn Balor. He put Finn Balor in an iron lung for a time. But now he's got surgery to do when it comes to Nakamura. It ain't going to I don't know if Nakamura is going to be considered a legitimate challenger yet. He's been a win some, lose some kind of guy for 3 years, He ain't been pushed as being dominant in forever, if ever. And very unfortunate for him. But Nakamura versus Seth Rollins, at least the matches will be good. I guess you could say that. Unfortunately, that's all Triple H cares about. At least the matches will be good. So we'll see how he manages to fix the career of Shinsuke Nakamura. To my surprise, they didn't actually build up Cody for anything. Cody and Dominic had words, and it looked like they might be going in that direction. But I certainly hope not. I certainly hope they're not going to go with Cody and Dominic. That doesn't seem like the right decision to make. I don't care about Judgment Day, if we're being honest. I mean, outside of Dominic and Rhea, who gives a shit? Finn Balor always loses. Damian Priest always loses. This stuff is not worth talking about. And it's been the same shit for months and months and months. Let's move on. Sonya Deville is injured. She tore her ACL. So the women's tag team titles will now be vacated once again. She started her little video she posted a video on Twitter basically saying that the titles are cursed. But nobody believes in curses. But how can you not believe when bad things happen to every single team that touches those belts? Either somebody gets fired or cut, somebody leaves, somebody gets injured. It's always something with these belts, It's always something. These belts I think they've been the most vacated titles in WWE in the most recent years. What other championship has been vacated so many times in such a short amount of time? These belts were created in 2017, maybe? 2018, maybe? And they've been vacated like 10 times. And it's always like injuries or, some random stuff happening. It's really unfortunate. It sucks for Chelsea Green. She needs a new tag team partner. And who knows who that could be. Her first partner got pregnant. Her second one got hurt. So now what's going to happen? You might get on TV tagging with Chelsea Green, but that'd be about it. Now we have to say the same thing about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, because apparently Kevin Owens' injury is legit. And now Sami Zayn is legit injured too. They probably should strip them too. Just strip all of the tag team titles and just say forget it. I'm not saying just like abandon tag team wrestling, but start over from scratch. It's pretty clear that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens had no steam coming out of WrestleMania anyway. This will be an opportunity to build something fresh with them. You got a bunch of mid-card guys and not doing anything. You have an opportunity now to say, if we get rid of the tag team titles, we can have a tournament, we can have something where that would force you to actually do stuff with the mid-card guys. Same thing with the women's titles. If you really want to make things matter, you have to stick to the rules. I mean, Sami Zayn's injured, Kevin Owens is injured, the titles are vacant, and then they get to be the guys who never lost and come back and chase the titles from some hated heels. Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. Either Chelsea Green picks a new partner and tries to win the titles back, or whatever the case may be. The idea that there's no Freebird rule because there is no third person. So I don't know what they're going to do. I know everybody's running around yelling about getting rid of the women's tag team titles, and I say, look, they ain't going to do that, so ain't no point in entertaining it, but they probably should have rethought women's tag team championships. They should definitely rethink it. All right. They should definitely reconsider. All right, so Ricochet's backstage. He's bitching and moaning and whining and crying about Logan Paul cheating. And Adam Pearce basically was like, all right, well, the referee's decision is final. Okay, nothing I can do about it. Then he picks out all of the 4 biggest losers in WWE. Matt Riddle, Tommaso Ciampa, Ricochet, and Chad Gable. And decided that these 4 men are worthy of an Intercontinental Championship match. But only one man is the winner of all losers. And he would actually get the championship match. Now, the match itself, the Fatal 4-Way, for the number 1 contenders match, it was fun. They did a lot of really cool stuff in here. But I just cannot overstate that Tommaso Ciampa lost the last big singles match he was in was against Bronson Reed. Chad Gable just lost to Gunther last week. Matt Riddle's been beaten by Gunther twice, and he got beat by Ludwig Kaiser clean. And Ricochet just got knocked out by Logan Paul on Saturday. Like, these people have not won anything. I know that people say wins and losses don't matter in WWE, but for Christ's fucking sake, these dudes are, the last time you saw these guys, they were getting pinned. Can somebody with some momentum win this thing, please? I mean, just a little bit of momentum. Anyway, the match was fine. I enjoyed the Chaos Theory spots where, every time Chad Gable looked like he was about to hit it, somebody would do another move to the other guy, whatever. I left Ciampa was alone to get the Chaos Theory and pinned. I like the Chaos Theory as a Chad Gable's finish. Somebody with a German suplex finish is pretty good. It's a rolling German suplex. I mean, I wouldn't need for him to do more than run him into the corner. Like, he needs to start running people into the ropes, or just being able to roll and get into it from anywhere. Yeah, that would be sweet. So Chad Gable wins in his hometown. He's very excited. He's running around with his son. Very touching moment. Honestly, it was a touching moment. It was pretty nice. You don't see a lot of that in WWE anymore. So while Chad Gable is celebrating with his son in the ring, Ludwig Kaiser's backstage trying to put the mat on Maxine Dupree. So he starts pitching himself as European elegance, A+ everything. Meanwhile, the Alpha Academy are bums and slugs like Riddle. And she smacked him about this. And then Otis got in his face. And they decided to have a match tonight because Otis challenged him to a match. So Otis wrestles Ludwig Kaiser, gets jumped by Imperium and loses. So Ludwig Kaiser got 2 wins in a row. He should be wrestling for the Intercontinental title. I mean, shit. He lost a lot, but he's won more matches than fucking Chad Gable. So he probably lose Chad Gable next week, though, by the way. So Otis was no-selling Ludwig Kaiser's punches in this match, and it was pretty funny how he was shaking like the fat part of his thighs. Oh, man. Otis is hilarious. It was funny. So Maxine Dupree had distracted Kaiser, while Vinci had distracted Otis, and then Gunther kicked Otis in the head. That led to Kaiser getting the pin. And then they jumped Otis and beat him up. Then Chad Gable ran to the ring to make the save. He actually chased Imperium off, which is not really believable, but we'll run with it because this is hometown. I guess we'll let it slide. So they're building up the Chad Gable Gunther match, which, hey, no problem there. But why on earth did you have him lose to Gunther last week then? You could have just not did that. I mean, it was real simple to not do that, but they did it anyway. So now I'm supposed to believe that a guy who couldn't beat Gunther last week can beat him now. Oh, okie dokie. It was just last week, bro. It wasn't like 2 months ago or something like that. And it was clean, too. It wasn't like it was, any kind of out. He survived 5 minutes. If they'd ended it there, then this would make sense and this would be fine. But they decided to, not only did he survive 5 minutes, but then he lost in the overtime. And now he gets a title shot. Get the fuck out of here. This is dumb. Dumb. Becky Lynch is out there. She's talking about, ending her story with Trish Stratus forever. Then she's interrupted by Zoe Stark, who says that Becky is scared of her. Becky said that Zoe Stark is too good for her own good, but she's also too stupid to realize she's being dragged down by Trish Stratus. And she's been playing second fiddle to Trish. Zoe Stark then continues to say she doesn't play second fiddle to anybody. And she is amazing. And she's amazing, and she's the baddest woman in the division. And Becky is just jealous that Trish chose her to be her protege. Upon hearing the word baddest, Shayna Baszler comes out looking like she got hit in the face with a baseball. She then, of course, this was immediately acknowledged by Becky Lynch, like, ooh, look at the shiner you got here. So then Shayna Baszler brags about running around Rousey out of WWE. There's a smattering of thank you, Shayna chants. For those of you who don't know, and I'm pretty sure all of you do, Ronda Rousey put out I think it was like an Instagram or something, stating that Shayna Baszler was the reason she got into this business. And now that I guess they aren't friends anymore, there's no reason for her to be in it anymore. So they're doing this whole thing where Ronda Rousey is gone now. We don't know if she's going to be gone forever or she's going temporarily. What's going to happen? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But now that she's choked out Ronda Rousey, which apparently nobody has ever done before, Shayna Baszler is now considering herself the baddest woman in WWE. And she got in Zoe Stark's face. And Zoe Stark says that, oh, yes, Shayna Baszler, you're the baddest punching bag in the WWE. So then Becky Lynch instigated a match between the two of them, and the match occurs. Now, I'm actually not too upset about the match. I think the match was fine. I actually want to give Zoe Stark some credit. She's been improving in promos, too. She also had another really kind of impressive moment over the weekend, I believe it was, when they were doing SummerSlam tryouts in Detroit. She had done an interview or something like that where she was getting very frustrated with some of the, I don't want to say real athletes, but let's say football players, basketball players, etc., who saw this as basically just an option, WWE. And she basically says that why the hell are these people even coming here if they don't really want to do this? They see it as an opportunity to get on TV and be famous. And there was one guy who was like a Mexican soccer player or something like that. He had actually put out a video at the tryout saying he didn't really want to do it, but he showed up anyway. And that kind of got people's attention. And of course, that once again brings WWE's recruitment into question. Just like when you have a writer who doesn't know the talent, you have, people who come to tryouts that have no intention of actually wanting to be wrestlers. They just want to be on TV, want to be famous, and want to be rich. You do have to weed those people out. And this is what, guys like Vern Gagne and Stu Hart and Bill DeMott was all about. You hate those guys, though. You don't want to talk about that because they were good for finding these people and basically running them into the fucking ground and saying, look, you don't really want to do this? All right, we'll figure it out after we break your fucking fingers. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do. I'm just saying that those guys, that's a little extreme. But I'm just saying that those guys absolutely would have snapped his leg, would have broke his fucking hand, and then would have been like, oh, well, look like you're not tough enough to be in this business. But instead, he's going to get coddled, and people's going to know who he is on Instagram and all this kind of stuff because he decided he was going to diss WWE in his video. But I'm getting a tryout and I don't really want to do it. It's like he's not going to get the job anyway. And he probably already knows it. So he probably figured I'll just get some engagement off of it. But she made a really good point. Like, what the hell are these people doing here? And it's clear what they're doing there. They think it's an easy job and they're going to jump right in and get it. But it doesn't work that way. It really don't. If you have no passion for the business, it shows pretty quickly. Like, I always laud guys who are not marks for the business, guys like Sid, guys like Sting, guys like Warrior, who they got into it, but they weren't like marks for it, like super marks for it. Yes, you should probably have watched it at some point to know what you're getting into. But, if you're one of these guys who bought the t-shirts, had the action figures, played the video game, got posters on your wall at 30 years old, I don't really want you in the ring. I really don't. I don't think we need you that badly. So while we don't need, super marks, we definitely need people who actually respect the business and respect the business enough that you don't record yourself during the tryout, basically saying you don't really want the job. You're just there because, well, it's something to do on a what was this, a Friday or something like that. So, I'm pretty sure that dumb shit is not going to get hired anyway. And if he was smart, he wouldn't get hired anywhere because that kind of attitude really should just permeate through every business that you would go to, wouldn't it? I never went to an interview for a job I didn't want, let alone go through a grueling several-day tryout. That seems pretty stupid. But hey, some people are stupid. I guess it is what it is. What is even funnier, though, is how many people, when he started posting pictures of himself, how many people who were actually like really attracted to him and thought like he should still get signed anyway because he's super attractive, like a super attractive like Latino guy, like Mexican or something like that. Or was he Italian? I don't remember, but whatever. But Zoe Stark made a really good point. Of course, she worked on the indies and all this kind of stuff, so she would have that attitude. But it just so happened that not too long after she made that comment, I managed to find a recruit that was a guy who really didn't want to be there, and for some reason was there. And I don't know if he did well or not, but I guess we'll have to see. Let's get to the match now so I can get through this thing. Shayna Baszler versus Zoe Stark was actually not bad. It was actually pretty solid. Zoe Stark, I've always said that her in-ring work was good. Her problem was her attitude and her personality, and that she didn't have any, But But she's working on attitude and personality. She's getting more comfortable on the mic. It's coming. She's coming along. You know, the makeup chair is helping her out in her look. You know, she still needs persona. You know, she needs like the fantastic Zoe Stark or something like that. You know, something extra to take her over the top. She's still too white bread right now. And Shayna Baszler wins the match with the baddest woman slam or some shit they called it. I don't know what's going on with that. In any event, Becky Lynch was outside the ring with some lemonade. This is apparently an inside joke between her and Triple H where now I gotta pause, Ashley, slow down here. So Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch was cut from SummerSlam. Triple H then goes in a press conference and says that nothing was cut because nothing was announced. And that his job is to make matches for future events. So some matches were, not put on SummerSlam so that they could be on future events. And he feels like you're robbing the future events if you try to stuff everything onto one card, which was a good point. But he started saying stuff about, you have to make lemons out of lemonade. You have to make lemonade out of lemons or something like that. So then Becky Lynch posted a picture of herself with some lemons. And now she's out here drinking lemonade. And then after Shayna Baszler won, she spit the lemonade out like Triple H used to spit out water. And she's just being really funny. Really funny. And clearly Triple H knows she's doing this. So there is an inside joke between the two of them. Also, it is legit that she got cut from SummerSlam. How do I know that? Because there was pictures posted of her at the summer, like doing like the car stuff that they was doing. So she was clearly supposed to be on the card. That's why she did media for SummerSlam. She's in the program to SummerSlam. So like out of the pictures that her and Trish took for SummerSlam are in the program. So they clearly was supposed to be on the card somewhere, but they got cut from the show. Triple H went out there and lied to everybody and said that they never got cut from the show. It doesn't fucking matter anyway. I mean, yes. It was definitely, and I saw somebody say, was it really necessary for Roman and Jay to have a full hour of SummerSlam to themselves? Egots, bro. I don't think it needed to be an hour, but for Christ's sake, if they draw in the money, yeah, they probably should get the most time. So, hate to break it to you, but Becky Lynch is giving Triple H attitude all of a sudden. So later, she's confronted by Shayna Baszler, who says that now that she's got rid of Ronda Rousey, she's got a list of people she wants to get rid of. And that eventually she's going to get around to Becky Lynch. To which Becky Lynch says that she's looking forward to it. So they teased it, but they're not going there immediately. Okay. Oh boy. Trish Stratus is kind of salty about getting cut from SummerSlam. She's pretty salty about this. And Becky is pretty salty about it. But there's nothing you can do about it, man. I mean, they formatted the show shittily, and they probably should have got rid of that fucking Battle Royal or done something else with it. But they paid for their spot. I said that before. There's not much you can do about it after that. All right, let's go on to something actually good. The best part of the show, the only part of the show I actually cared about, the Miz LA Knight promo segment. So the Miz, earlier in the evening, is walking around backstage. He thinks he's got a photo shoot. He sees that LA Knight is going first. He's got an attitude about it. So he goes out there to try to air his grievance during promos, saying that he doesn't feel like he gets the proper respect from anybody around here. He's a locker room leader. He's earned respect, and that he learned respect from the past generations. And this new generation of wrestlers, they're too disrespectful. And then he said that LA Knight was disrespectful, didn't introduce himself, didn't shake his hand. And then LA Knight came out there. LA Knight introduced himself, had the crowd introduce him, and offered to shake The Miz's hand. The Miz said, no, you don't deserve a handshake. Then he says that he's seen guys like LA Knight come and go. These guys are flash in the pan. They love you now. They bag your t-shirt, but we'll see how they react to you later. Then he called LA Knight an Attitude Era fanboy cosplaying in his ring. And I was like, this is going in a great direction. The Miz is about to try to bury him. They're going in a great direction. So then LA Knight says that he ain't got no problem with the Miz, but he don't want this to get personal. So the Miz is like, personal? Oh, I've taken my career personally for 20 years. He started talking about how he got kicked out of the locker room, how he got bullied and pushed around, saying that he's made himself indestructible. He takes everything that involves his career personally. So then LA Knight was like, okay, well, personal it is. Says what I've been doing for 20 years, I've been scratching and clawing. I've been making myself dangerous. He said, you succeeded in this company because you're safe. They knew they could push you around. They knew they could kick you out of the locker room. They couldn't do that to me. And I was like, ooh, okay, we're going there. So he started saying that his career's on the upswing. Miz's career's in the toilet. He kind of botched that line, but he pushed through it. He says that he sees Miz as a stepping stone. The Miz is like, stepping stone? He's like, yeah, I'm not talking about your little stepping stones down here. And then the Miz said that LA Knight is not on his level. So LA Knight says, well, I'm looking you straight in the eyes. It look like we're level to me. So the Miz was like, okay. And he took his jacket off, and LA Knight is like, I ain't going anywhere. And he's waiting for the Miz to do what he's going to do. And Miz, of course, is not a fighter at all. He throws his suit jacket, completely misses his head, throws some really feckless, terrible punches, and ends up catching a BFT for his trouble. So LA Knight's first real feud is going to be with the Miz. And this works. Miz is good for this. Miz is really good. Everybody knows the Miz's story. He uses it a lot in storylines. So it's like beating a dead horse and how he was mistreated and bullied and whatever. But it's good that LA Knight positioned himself as being the guy who was an outsider. You know, it's not very important to the WWE audience that you're seen as an outsider, somebody who wasn't supposed to make it. That's how you get positioned as an underdog, you know. And they're going to try, I guess they're going to go the Rocky Balboa route with LA Knight. They're not really running from how old he is, you know. Otherwise, they wouldn't have mentioned that, you know, Miz has been in WWE for 20 years. LA Knight, where you been for 20 years, you know. But I think these two guys probably, they have a lot of talent between the two of them. You know, I really question how good the match will be. But then again, I don't really care how good the match will be. So at this point, I think the verbal battle was great. I think Miz, of course, got the heads up on this. He shows a lot more passion, a lot more fire, and he didn't fumble his words. Well, LA Knight's, he's still pretty good. I think he did a great job here. You know, positioning himself as being very different from Miz. Miz is the quintessential WWE superstar. He's an office guy. And you're positioning yourself as being the outsider, the underdog, the guy who was never supposed to be here, the guy who was never supposed to make it. But the guy who, you know, scratched and clawed and finally found his way in after all these years. A lot like, you know, guys like AJ Styles and guys like Daniel Bryan and guys like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. They've all played this same card. But LA Knight's a little bit different because while he did work on the indies here and there, he's mostly even been on the outside of Impact. So this is clearly a test to see if LA Knight was ready. And throwing him in there with the Miz was really ballsy. Because if the Miz can't do anything, the Miz can talk, you know. So, and he can actually show range. So we're doing a good job here by putting him being the main test for LA Knight. And I think LA Knight passed. I think it was a B, but I think it was a pass. You know, he didn't knock it out the park. He didn't 100% kill it because he did stumble his words there here and there. But I think he really solidified himself and his character and who he is and what he's trying to achieve and separated himself from the Miz and the rest of the guys in the locker room. And he did a really good job with that. So this was good. Am I looking forward to the match? I'm actually looking more for them to be sniping at each other back and forth. I want more promos with these guys in the ring. I know Triple H is probably going to try to rush them to the ring and maybe even book the match for next goddamn week or something like that. When in reality, they should be cutting promos on each other some more. You know, they should be, you know, continuing to build on this and build to the fight. You know, that's really because the match is not going to be that great. So we might as well just go ahead and really milk the build. You know, that could really be good stuff. Two really good talkers going in there talking at each other, then give them a 10-minute match at the most. And I think things could work out great for both of them. The Miz doesn't lose anything if he loses this match. Miz loses all the fucking time, so it doesn't matter. The fact is, he has some credibility, even upon being a loser. And the weird thing is, like, even in this promo, people who respect Miz, because he's been around for a long time, they were applauding him. Even LA Knight had to acknowledge it. Like, you picked up a couple, good for you. So it shows you that Miz is a great challenge on the microphone because he actually was able to sway some of the audience. Can the Miz steal LA Knight's thunder? Is a good question. And they're clearly doing it on purpose. Were they going to see if this is a flash in the pan or not? If Miz can actually swipe LA Knight's heat. And I don't know if LA Knight knows that, but he's certainly about to try it. And I think the Miz is, I don't think he's going to be too successful. I think the Miz is so good that he's actually going to force LA Knight to up his game. And he's already a really good promo. So he's going to really force him to up his game. I think he's going to pass it in total anyway. But I think tonight he did a really good job. Miz probably got the edge on him here, but I think he can come back. It's not a completely totally lost cause like when the Miz buried some guys out there, and like he buried Enzo that one time. Smack talk a Skywalker, and he got buried by the Miz. That shit was cool, you know. That was cool. That ruled. All right. Next, the Viking Raiders. They said something about some gods and sacrifices, and basically they had an open challenge. And then New Day accepted the open challenge. Oh my goodness, New Day is back. Then New Day and the Viking Raiders proceed to have a match that was entirely too long for this show. And the New Day win. They win with the limit break. You know, the Final Fantasy VII finisher of Xavier Woods. So the Viking Raiders and their guys, were they the sacrifices to the guys now? Are the guys going to take them away? Can they please do so? Oh, God, these guys, man. Ugh, it's rough. They're having a rough time, dog. Anyway, New Day is back to inject some positivity in the women's division. They talked about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn being down. The Street Profits, and being jerks now, beating up everybody. They need some positivity, and they introduced themselves to the new microphone holder, whose name I wrote down and still can't remember. Is it Jackie Redmond? I don't recognize the name. I don't recognize the face. Anyway, New Day is back. That's great. I'm pretty sure there's somebody who's happy about it. As far as I remember, New Day was supposed to be on SmackDown, and here they are on Raw. Like nothing matters anymore. LA Knight appearing on Raw is fine. He's just cutting a promo. New Day actually wrestling. I don't know what's going on with those guys. All right, that's Monday Night Raw in a nutshell. Only one thing on this show was really good. That was LA Knight and the Miz cutting promos on each other. The Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship, number one contenders thing, was a good match. And the stuff with Chad Gable was good. The problem, of course, is that Chad Gable already lost. And the problem is that the match didn't feature anybody with any momentum, which is very unfortunate, because it took it out of it for me when I realized, I'm like, man, there's nobody in this match that could realistically beat Gunther. Just nobody. It's meaningless. Another thing is there was no Drew McIntyre on this show. Drew McIntyre lost at SummerSlam. There was no follow-up whatsoever on Drew McIntyre losing. He lost clean. He came in, won a couple of matches, lost clean, disappeared again. What's going on? They didn't even mention him. Outside of him losing to Gunther, they didn't really even mention him. I would have thought he would have been the next guy in line to fight Seth Rollins, or for him to do something else. Like, what's the plan? If Shinsuke Nakamura is the guy fighting Seth Rollins, then what the fuck is Drew McIntyre going to do? I guess it doesn't matter at this point, does it? I guess he just doesn't rate on Triple H's WWE. Just, we got to make room for Bronson Reed. We don't have no space for Drew McIntyre anymore. You got to make room for checks, notes, the Viking Raiders? Nah, come on, man. Those guys wrestle every fucking week. They're always involved in something. But we can't get Drew McIntyre some time to cut a promo about losing to Gunther, about, how his career has been going the last year or so, or now it seems like a perfect time to cut a promo where he refocuses. Like, he thinks about all the big moments where he's failed and what's going on and what's going wrong or something like that. Now it just feels like the time to do that. I mean, we didn't get any follow-up whatsoever to Gunther and Drew McIntyre. That sucks. I don't know what more you can ask for out of a pro wrestler than Drew McIntyre. Guy, great look, good promo, can work. Yes, he's stale, but you're not doing anything with him in one way or the other. So I mean, I don't understand what's going on here. So at least they brought in Indy and Candice LeRae. There's gonna be two people for Rhea Ripley to bump around for the next couple of weeks before they really have the match with Raquel Rodriguez. So at least the women's division they're making some headway, but they mentioned the women's tag team titles being vacant, but they didn't propose anything that should be done about it. So there's a lot of things up in the air for Monday Night Raw that they probably could have put some focus on and some effort into, rather than this dumbass Judgment Day stuff that they've been doing for like the last 22 months. For fuck's sake, I don't care. You can tell you anything you want about the Bloodline. It ain't nearly as bad as the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day sucks. It sucks so bad. I cannot wait for this to end. This is the shits. I can't wait for it to end. Fuck. Please get Dominic and Rhea away from this. It seems like everybody is better off on their own. Better off doing something else. Because Judgment Day clearly is not working. But what do I know? All right. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace.